Today, we are going to be seeing every single dino that has ever been added to Ark Survival. This is going back a few years, actually, to the very first dino that was ever added to Ark, all the way up until today, which actually, a new dino hasn't been added in a few months. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first update that came out was 173, not the first ever update, but the first ever update with an actual dino in it. It came out with the Spinosaur. The Spinosaur Fear the Beast. So this thing was actually released with patch number 173. It was the first ever dino actually to be added into the game. But anyways, the next one that was officially added was the Plesiosaur and also the Ichthyornis, or Ichthyosaurus. Yeah. You guys know I am absolutely horrible at pronunciations. So the first one is Titamarus. That is my guess at it. And then also the Dimorphodons. These were both added in patch number 187. You know, pretty beastly. The Dimorphodon, obviously, probably, in my opinion, I like that one out of the two that were actually released on this patch. Just because the Dimorphodons are absolute freaking beasts. And then in update or patch 189, they actually came out with a new creature, the Meganeura. So these things, they give a ton of XP if you know, you're just starting out. These things are easy to kill. You get some spears. You just poke them a few times and they're dead. Absolute kind of cool creatures in Ark. Alright, and in patch number 191, the new creature which was added was the Trilobite. So these things are the little, I guess you could say, kind of like snails that are flattened. Flattened snails, that's what I'm gonna go with. So, you know, these things aren't the best tames that were, or best dino to be added, but you know, it's cool. It gave beginners an easy way to get some hard to get materials, I guess. In patch 193, they actually came out with the Alpha T-Rex. So this was actually a pretty big patch. This Alpha T-Rex, it kind of changed the game for the better. It gave players, I guess you could say, a goal, kind of. This was like kind of a new thing for players to actually do and kill and get a ton of XP. In patch 201, the new dino, the Gigantopithecus. Oh yeah, I just pronounced that right. Alright, this thing is the monkey which you can ride on, and these things were, you know, primarily added to gather fiber easier, which I don't really get why you would need something to gather fiber since it's so easy. Because obviously they're not really useful for raids, but they are pretty cool on like PvE servers. In patch number 202, the new creature, the Doedicurus, was actually released. Now this is a game changer right here. At the beginning of Ark, before tech was all released, you know, stone behemoth gates, I just remember those were the thing that you needed to grind out. The Doedicurus was the thing, it was the go-to tame. Stone, biggest, not really the biggest resource, but at the beginning, it was the biggest resource. In patch number 204, the new creature, the Mesopithecus. Oh, I just pronounced that right, let's go. Doesn't really do anything, but, you know, it's cool, I guess. In patch number 207, the new creature, the Pachypadlosaurus. So the Patchy was released. In patch number 219, the Mosasaurus was actually released. These things they're fairly good, but they're obviously underwater, so they can't come up, which kind of sucks. But they are the king of the sea. The new dino, the Gigantosaurus, or the Giga, whatever you want to call it. Alright, now this was an absolute game changer. This thing changed Ark forever. Let me emphasize that. Forever. These things were so hard to find, let alone so hard to tame. At first, no one knew how to tame these things. But when they were released, you know, it was awesome. In patch number 223, we actually have another new creature, or two new creatures, the Kakeru and the Anglerfish. So the Kakeru is actually the penguin, which gives you organic polymer, very useful actually. And the Anglerfish is just, you know, the thing that glows up in the water, which is kind of, I guess, kind of pointless. Even though you can't get them for Silcia Pearls, you can use them to get Silcia Pearls. So they're kind of useful, but I don't know. I don't really use them that much. In patch number 224, another new creature, the I'm not even gonna try. The Compy was released. So the Compy, you know, it was pretty dope tame. Not the best, but you know, they're just miniature, little tiny dinosaurs, which weren't really used for anything. They were more just kind of annoying, and they kind of just helped, you know, everyone out by killing all the noobs on the beach. Patch number 226, new creature, the Oviraptor. So the Oviraptor actually, it changed the face of Arc taming. These things actually sped up, the laying of eggs from all tames that you have, of course, which is just awesome. You could get a Pomo Scorpius and it could lay 2 times the amount of eggs that it normally would, which is just awesome. Literally, you could tame, the Quetzals and everything, the 150 gigas that you needed because of these Oviraptors. They sped it up a lot. In patch number 242, another new creature, or 2 creatures actually, the Diplodocus, which is a thing that kind of just pushes you. It doesn't really hit. So, it's kind of cool. You can add like a ton of people. You can have the saddle allows a ton of people to ride it, but not really a necessity. And the Leech, of course. The Leech, that changed Arc like a lot. So the Leech pretty much added the disease into the game. Well, a little bit after the Leech was released, it actually added in a disease, which if you did get sucked on by this Leech, you'd get the disease, which made you faster, but pretty much overall made you weaker. Patch number 243, the Titanosaur was added to Arc. Now this was probably one of the biggest shifts in Arc PvP ever. So this thing changed the game of raiding. So you got one of these things and you're going to raid someone, this thing is just so OP. It's just so OP, period. That's all I have to say about the Titanosaur. Finally, next up to be added was Scorched Earth. So Scorched Earth, when it was actually released to the public, it was an expansion pack, which did cost about 20 bucks. It did cost about 20 bucks. So these are all the things that were added: the Deathworm, the Jerboa, the Jugbug, the Lymantria, the Manticore, the Mentis, the Morellatops, the Rock Elemental, the Phoenix, the Thorny Dragon, the Vulture, the Wyvern. So all those tames are actually added to Arc. Fairly pretty dope tames, in my opinion. The Wyvern was probably the biggest one out of all of them. Definitely the Wyvern. The rest of them were kind of just, there in Scorched Earth because it was a scorched map, so they wanted to add, some things that would kind of correlate with the map itself. Next up, patch number 245. 2 new creatures were released: the Pelagornis and the Allosaur. So the Pelagornis, I don't really like it. It doesn't really have a purpose. But the Allosaur, on the other hand, this thing is a beast. So the Allosaur actually was the first dino to have that, which is actually super sick. In patch number 247, the new dino, the Tapejara. This thing is sick. Not the best for raids, but it is very, very cool dino to breed and just tame up, I guess. And then also the Archaeopteryx. Alright, in patch number 248, 3 new dinos were actually added this time. The Caprasutris, which is a thing that kind of clings to you when you're in the swamp, kind of like a little Sarco, I guess you could say. A Diplocolus, and then the Caliotherium. Please tell me I pronounced that one right. Patch number 252, new dinos. The the snail. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. The Megalosaur and the Pachyrhinosaurus, and also the Moschops. Uh-oh, my camera moved. I hope it's still good. Alright, in patch number 253, 5 new dinos are actually added. The Jellyfish, the Troodon, the Tussoteuthis, the Pegomastix, and also the Therizino. So the ones that stood out were obviously the Troodon. I hate that thing. Very, very powerful in a pack. Next up, in patch number 254, we have the Ovis, the Basilosaurus, the Baryonyx, and the Purlover, all super sick dinos. In patch number 255, we have the Electrophorus, the Microraptor, the Ammonite, and the Thylocoleo. The only thing that stands out is the Thylo, actually, because these things were the first dinos to actually be able to, climb, I guess you could say, and they were still very powerful. In patch number 256, we actually have the Ichthys, the Leedcythiods, the Ichthyornis, and the Iguanodon. So the only thing that really stood out here is the Leedcythius. I am so sorry. I know I'm probably giving you guys cancer. In patch number 257, the Giant Bee, the Daeodon, the Leoplorodon, and the Kentrosaurus all were released. The only thing that stood out here was the Daeodon because it had a new type of I guess, buff, you could say. It actually heals the tames that are around you, which is actually kind of unique. Patch number 258, the Hyaenodon, the Hesperornis, the Megalitherium, the Megalania, and the Yutyrannus were all released. The Yutyrannus, obviously, I like this one out of all 5 that were released, just because the Yutyrannus had a new, different type of look to it. It kind of had like a furry T-Rex look, which is absolutely dope. From here, actually, Ragnarok was released from here, adding all 5 of these: the Ice Worm Male, Queen, Lava Elemental, the Ice Wyvern, and also the Griffin, which were awesome additions to Ark. In patch number 267, the Otter was released, and then soon after, Aberration was actually released with the Basilic, Glowdog, Lamprey, Reaper, Rorat, Bulbdog, Glowtail, Nameless, Rockdrake, Seeker, Featherlight, Cookinose, Ravenger, Rockwell, Shinehorn. Oh my gosh, that is a mouthful. So all those awesome dinos were added. Oh my gosh. That is literally, I didn't count it up, but that is like it's definitely hundreds. So hundreds of dinos have been added to Ark since the release of the game, which is absolutely awesome. The Ark developers are grinding out there, making the game fresh, trying to make it fresh. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. If you did enjoy the video, smash the thumbs up. And if I did miss any dinos, I don't think I did, I like triple checked, but if I did miss a dino, make sure you comment it down below, and I will update this video in the description with the one that I missed, or if I did miss any. So I will see you guys in my next video. Peace!